Good morning, gang. Good morning. Welcome to this week's altcoin update. First and foremost, remember nothing discussed today is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor and it's for educational purposes only. And now that's out of the way, let's jump into what we're going to talk about today. So today, due to popular request, we're going to take a look at SKL and we're going to take a look at ETH. They were the most requested altcoins based on our Twitter post and last week's YouTube content. So obviously if you guys do want an altcoin covering next week, then make sure to let us know down below what you want covering. Before we get into what I'm looking at, let's take a minute to look at today's video sponsor, which is Prime XBT. If you don't know who Prime XBT are, they are a platform where you can not only trade crypto, but you can also trade FX, commodities and stock indices. Now this is my platform of choice for trading FX and commodities and stocks. Because the beauty of these guys is you can use crypto as collateral. If you use our codes down in the description below, you can get up to a $7,000 deposit bonus. And if you use the second code as well, you can also get 25% off trading fees. And then a quick update with Prime, they are just launching or just about to launch their new crypto user interface, which is more in tune with other exchanges on the market, and they're offering a little bit of a bounty, so if you can find bugs with it then you can win cash prizes. So yeah, something to keep an eye on there. And now that's out of the way, let's jump straight into it. So first let's start off looking at SKL. So SKL, I mean this chart that we're using the Binance chart, so this has been around since December 2020. As usual, first and foremost, we shall throw on a volume profile of the whole entire price action. And we can see here, well, it's got some great respect here. Let's zoom in. So obviously we've come down. This is now the value area low. And we've had a nice deviation of the value area low. Let's zoom in so you guys can see this. Deviation of the value area low, and now we're having a bounce. So what can we say here? Well, as long as it stays within this value, then it's not looking too bad. But let's be honest, below this value, then we're starting to get down into a penny. So yeah, you really don't want to lose that level. Now let's leave this on and let's come out to the weekly to see if we can see a clear range with this. Well, first things first, I'm looking at this as the first low, and then this has created a brand new high here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on our range fib tool and see if we get any confluence. And just like that, we do get confluence. So let's go back to the daily chart. Now, by the way, if you guys want access to this range fib tool, then you just need to come check out our website, spitfiretraders.com. And this range fib tool is for our members. So the beauty of this range fib tool is it catches the deviations. That's the beauty of it. Right, so we can see here, obviously we've formed a new range. We've got the range low here. We've got a range high. We've come back down. We've back tested the EQ, back down. Then we've lost the range low. Tested it on the underside, come back down, deviation, range low, deviation, and then outer deviation finally. Before recently, we've come back up, brought back into the range, tested the EQ several times, and now we're back down at range lows. So let's throw it on a more local volume profile, see if we can get an idea of what's going on here. And we can see here that the point of control is at this current range low. So first things first, if this holds, right here, where's my pen tool? There we go. Then I'd be looking for a bounce. So we either could come back down, take out these lows here, because we do have some lows down here, which we could take, reclaim, change your market structure, and then you'd be potentially looking at a long trigger there. Now bear in mind, this is looking on the daily chart, so this isn't going to happen overnight. It could do. Obviously it is an altcoin, and altcoins do typically move fast, so it could happen fast, but this would be one potential play. Now, if you are longing that back up, we've got to take note of the volume profile here, and we've got a thick node here of high volume. So roughly around this level here, which is coming in roughly around 5 cents, which again, a bit of a round number. So if we do get a bounce here, then you're going to have to pay attention to this sort of region here as a potential take profit one. So if you come back into this is thick, and this could cause a rejection, especially if it takes out these highs and then turns around and comes back down on you. Okay. So this is why you want to be locking in those early profits. Now, bear in mind that still, that kind of move, you're still looking at a 25% move. So, it's not insignificant. And as long as your risk to reward's on point, then, you can make money out of these kind of things. So obviously that would be option number one, assuming that this region holds. Now, if this region doesn't hold, and we do start to roll over, then first and foremost, then we need to be looking back down at this value area low here. Obviously, this is the value area low of this internal volume profile, not the external one, which is the whole range right from the beginning. So this would be something that be paying attention to down here, and effectively you wouldn't want to be losing this. Okay, if you do lose this, then I'm sorry, but you're coming back down then to your outside deviation, and again, if you lose that, then realistically you're coming all the way down here. So it's just levels, again, levels that you need to be paying attention to. But for me right now, this would be something interesting potentially if it can hold it. You know, if it starts to range here, jumps back down, takes the liquidity, then yeah, it could be interesting. Now what happens if it does moon up straight from here and we don't hover around down here? Well, if it does come up, as I say, we've got this area here that you've got to pay attention to, and if it does get beyond that, then I'll be looking back into this EQ/value area high again. Okay, get above that, then you're looking at taking out these highs here and you're coming back into the macro range highs. Okay, so again, there's quite a lot of resistance above, so it's not just a case of just longing it and hoping for the best and hoping it's going to moon, because as we saw in the in last week's video with, what was it, XCM that we were looking at last week, you know, price had this massive rally up into the range highs. It was coming back down as we were recording the video, and we said, well, either hold this EQ, and if it doesn't hold this EQ, then likely it retraces that full move, and in the end it retraced that full move. So again, like I said on last week's video, these kind of moves you need to be taking profits on. Okay, so that's what I'll be looking at here. Again, if you get above that and you manage to clear all this, then you've got a macro range POC here coming in at, call it 12 cents for easy numbers. So that is the most significant resistance on the chart, really, from a high time frame perspective. Okay, so that's dead easy. SKL, you know, currently you'd be wanting this region to hold. You know, it's still could have another step down, but you'd be wanting this to hold. Right. Obviously, if you guys want to know how I trade and how my guys trade in the group, then first and foremost, come over and check out our website, which is down in the description, spitfiretraders.com. Click on this link here, will get you into our free traders Discord, where we've got well over 1,000 members, all sharing loads of forms to helping one another to learn, and you get some of our private members as well that do come into the free group quite frequently, post ideas, their setups that they're looking at. And again, it's the community where you never have to feel scared to ask a question. You know, we don't believe in daft questions in our Discord, because at the end of the day, we all start somewhere. So that's one good thing about the community that we've created, is it's welcoming for everyone. Okay. You also get a bit of a blurb about what's inside the group, but obviously if you want to find out more about that, then click on our Copilot's TA course up here, and you can see everything that's included with the private group. And obviously if you do want a bit of a snapshot, there's the video library here, or you can just take a look at this screen that I'm just about to share, which is effectively inside the program. And we can see here, like we're in the altcoin steps here, so we've got various altcoin strategies. We've got order flow, we've got volume analysis, we've got Fibonacci, beginners. There's everything in here that you could possibly want. We're just about to do tonight's module, which is going to be how to create your own strategy using all these tools that we've got in here, and how to backtest it properly and work out if it's going to be financially viable or not. And it's something that you can create your own trader's toolkit with. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting stream tonight. So if you're around and you want to join it, then come over to our website and join up. And say for the grand old price of $59.95 Great British pounds. Right, now that's out of the way, let's take a look at ETH. Right, so ETH. Now this tier on this chart is not my working chart. This is actually something that's left from the last stream that we did. And looking at this, we can see here, we can tell the last stream that I did on ETH would have been around here, because it's where the volume profile's pulled up to, which is the 17th of January. As we finished off that last video, where we're talking about inside this light blue range that we're in, we've got the volume profile here, and then also to pay attention to this upward sloping channel, because this is tying into one of my Elliott wave counts. And as we can see, so from here, so it had been price action had been here, we've then come up, we've tested the Q of this parallel channel, and again, and we're still not managing to break through it. So it's something to note, this channel is still very important in my opinion if you're trading ETH. And obviously, even if you're not trading ETH, ETH's a great one to look at, especially against the Bitcoin pair, because it gives you a bit of an overall bias of what's happening in the altcoin market. Yes, you will get outliers that run and outliers that drop, but as a general overview of the health of the altcoin market, then keep an eye on ETH. Even if you don't trade it, keep an eye on it. Have it charted, know where the key levels are. It's probably the best alpha I can share for you all in the whole of today's video. Okay, right, so let's now pull this volume profile all the way along so we can see where we're up to. We can see that we're hovering around the value area high of the whole range. Okay, so from here to take note of, if we do get acceptance back within this value, then first and foremost I'll be looking back down to at least this EQ, which would then run these lows. Okay, bit of a liquidity grab because we know full well that there's going to be stop losses down here. Okay, we can just see it visually. We know that we've got a clear low all by itself, there's nothing else around it, so that we know that people are going to use this. Anyone that's longed anywhere in this region, this will be where the stops are. So therefore, if we do come down here, then I'd be looking for those stops to be run. Okay, so we've got this EQ here. Now, this EQ itself has been support and resistance in the past. However, more locally since then, we didn't actually get back up to that. So it's something to pay attention to, that it might not be the best level. If it does drop below, we can see here on the volume profile we've got a high value node here, which is roughly around 1327 or 1328 roughly. Now, if I was a betting man, I would say that that's probably the golden pocket. So if we throw on a Fibonacci retracement here, and we change it to Fib retracement, and we can see, yep, a golden pocket right on this high volume node here. So again, this adds to, if price does get acceptance back into this value, we can see here that it's thin. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We can see here that it's thin. So if we do end up dropping back down here and we get no reaction around this EQ, again, it's a thin area, then ultimately I'd be looking to come back down at least into this golden pocket. And if you get a nice market structure change on a lower time frame, then potentially you've got an entry criteria there for a long position. Okay, if you don't get this and you don't see this change in market structure, then just let it drop even further. And if it drops even further, then ultimately you can be looking back down at this point of control / this upward sloping channel. Okay, if it breaks out of this channel, now that's not something for me, as you guys know if you've followed me a while, I'm not a breakout trader. So if it does come back down here, breaks out this channel and retests it to come back down lower, that to me is not a trade, because that'd be a breakout trade. And realistically, you're just shorting into the overall range lows. So if you're a low time frame player, maybe that's something that you might want to do. But if you're a high time frame swing trader like I am on altcoins, then there's just not something I'd be interested in, because I'm still currently sat in shorts from higher. Okay, so that's to the downside. Now to the upside, if we don't get acceptance, shall we say, into value and we have a rise, then I'd be looking for another stab of these highs. Okay, because we know full well, again, just like down here, we've got lots of liquidity up here. Lots of stop losses of people who've shorted already. So if we do get another stab of the highs, then I'll be looking, again, following this EQ back up / this range high. Now, if we do get up to this range high, bear in mind, we've got these highs here. So therefore, what we could see is deviation, and you've got a short trigger again. And again, you're just playing this range. You trade this range until it breaks. Don't just play one side. Don't just play longs hoping for moon. You know, you can make money in both directions. You know, if you've been playing this EQ of this parallel channel, then you've made money off it. Okay? It's not that hard. Level to level. And again, if it does come back out of that, then once again, I'll be looking for these channel highs if it gets that high. But for now, we're just range bound. We're just range bound until proven otherwise. I'm not overly bullish. I'm not overly bearish. That'll do. Obviously, if you guys want an altcoin covering next week, then leave a comment down in the description. If you enjoyed today's video, then don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing so you don't miss out next time. Okay, guys, as you were, bye-bye.